Japan is one of the most beautiful and culturally rich countries in the world. With its iconic temples, bustling cities, serene countryside, and deep-rooted traditions, it's no surprise that millions of people dream of visiting. In recent years, however, Japan has seen a massive surge in tourism. While this is great for the economy, it's also come with its downsides. Primarily, a growing number of tourists acting disrespectfully and treating the country like their personal theme park. These behaviors have sparked outrage among locals, and there's even a new term for such individuals: Mei Waku Gaikokujin, or nuisance foreigners. This issue is reaching unprecedented levels, and the divide between tourists and locals is becoming harder to ignore. Let's dive deeper into how things got this bad, what's happening now, and what travelers can do to turn things around. Japan's economy has faced serious challenges in recent years, with the yen hitting historic lows. While this has caused financial strain for many locals, it's made Japan an incredibly affordable travel destination for people worldwide. The result? A record-breaking influx of tourists. In 2023 alone, Japan hosted more international visitors than at any other time in its history. While this boom has been a lifeline for Japan's struggling economy, the sheer volume of visitors has exposed the downside of mass tourism. Crowded streets, overrun landmarks, and tourists engaging in disruptive behavior have become increasingly common. Social media has only amplified the problem, with influencers portraying Japan as a whimsical playground where anything goes. This perception has led to viral stunts, like tourists dancing on trains, taking inappropriate photos at shrines, and even blocking traffic to snap pictures of Mount Fuji. While some of these actions may seem harmless, they often clash with Japan's cultural norms and leave locals feeling disrespected. Over the past year, several incidents have gone viral, putting a spotlight on the behavior of certain tourists. In one case, a group of travelers was seen doing pull-ups on a train, treating it as if it were a jungle gym. While this might seem like a minor annoyance, trains in Japan are considered spaces for quiet and order, especially for the many commuters who spend hours traveling to and from work. Another recent controversy involved tourists taking TikTok videos at sacred shrines. These places are deeply spiritual to the Japanese, and using them as a backdrop for silly internet challenges comes across as tone-deaf and disrespectful. The list goes on. Influencers filming themselves breaking cultural taboos, visitors trespassing on private property to get the perfect shot of cherry blossoms, and even tourists blocking traffic near Mount Fuji to take selfies. These behaviors have not only caused frustration, but have also damaged the reputation of foreigners in Japan. Japan is a country with strong social rules and a deep sense of respect for others. Many of these rules are unspoken, but they are universally understood by locals. For example, trains are seen as places of calm, where people avoid loud conversations or disruptive behavior. Similarly, shoes are removed in certain spaces as a sign of cleanliness and respect. When tourists ignore these customs, it's not just seen as impolite, it's often interpreted as a lack of regard for Japan as a whole. And unfortunately, when one foreigner behaves badly, it reflects poorly on all foreigners. For example, if a Japanese person crosses the road on a red light, locals might think, that person is being reckless. But if a foreigner does the same, the reaction is often, foreigners don't follow the rules. This collective judgment is something that many expatriates and long-term visitors to Japan are acutely aware of, and it's why they go out of their way to be considerate. While much of the backlash against disruptive tourists is justified, it's also important to recognize that some reactions go too far. There have been cases where foreign visitors were unfairly blamed for things beyond their control, such as causing rice shortages or overcrowding public transport. These instances reflect a deeper bias that exists in parts of Japanese society, where foreigners are sometimes viewed with suspicion. It's also worth noting that Japan, like any other country, isn't perfect. The image of Japan as a spotless, hyper-respectful utopia is largely a product of social media and marketing. In reality, locals break rules too. There are Japanese citizens who behave disruptively on trains or leave trash in public places. However, these incidents don't receive the same level of scrutiny as those involving tourists. If you're planning to visit Japan, there are a few simple steps you can take to ensure your trip is enjoyable for both you and the locals. Learn the basics of Japanese etiquette. Take some time to understand the cultural norms, such as being quiet on public transport, removing your shoes in certain places, and avoiding photography in areas where it's not allowed. Respect sacred spaces. Temples, shrines, and other cultural landmarks aren't just tourist attractions. They're places of deep spiritual significance. Treat them with the respect they deserve. Be mindful of social media trends. Avoid copying viral stunts or challenges that could come across as disrespectful. Just because something gets likes online doesn't mean it's appropriate in real life. Think about the locals. Remember that your actions don't exist in a vacuum. How you behave as a tourist can shape how locals view foreigners for years to come. Japan is an incredible country with so much to offer, from its stunning landscapes to its rich cultural heritage. But it's also a real place, not a fantasy land. By treating it with the respect it deserves, tourists can help preserve its beauty and foster goodwill between locals and visitors. Let's remember, when we travel, we're guests. And being a good guest means acting with kindness, humility, and understanding. So the next time you visit Japan or any other country, ask yourself, am I adding to this place's beauty, or am I taking away from it? Traveling respectfully doesn't just make the experience better for others, it makes it better for you too.